Hey there, everyone. Welcome to A Slice of Life with Kellie and John. Today we have a guest who she's an author, but her group is called Bold Authors Network, and it's a book promotion group. So we're going to learn all about not how to write a book, but once you have your book, then how to promote it and make it successful. And Kay, if I'm correct, you went to #1 on Amazon, correct?
Yes. So I published 4 books last year, a series called the Frankie Girl series, and book one went to #1 in its category and stayed in the top 20 for 42 weeks. So lots of promotion, great product, lots of promotion, and pushing it every day, every day.
Wow, yeah, we want to hear all about how you made that happen.
Well, and
Yes.
and what we're going to talk about is, especially for this episode, I'm going to make sure that this goes out to a lot of writers who are writing books and people who have self-published authors mostly who have written books, but then at some point they hit that wall like, okay, now I have a book. I have a website. I have a Facebook page. I have a couple of other other things that are out there that you could talk about. I'm not knowledgeable about, but what do I do after that? Not everybody. I'm very fortunate because I like to get up in front of people and I have that ability to do readings and speak and make it enjoyable. A lot of people, very good writers, do not have the ability to either because of commitments they can't go on tour, or because they just don't have that
Oh, John froze.
knack of being able to get up in front of people. So there you go. I hope that is okay. There you go. Uh, so that's what I'd like to gear some of this to. The writers who, what do we do next? And you're the answer to that, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it sounds like it.
I will
I
let
haven't
you
met
talk.
anyone who would, there are people who've done it, but I haven't met anyone who's gone to #1 on Amazon with their own book. So you did your own promotion, correct?
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you
So
start? Would you say, I'm sure your book's very good, but would you say, does it matter the genre or the quality of writing, or I mean, a lot of people, they buy a book, but they don't know how good it is until they read it. So how do you approach that?
So #1, you need a good book, obviously. It's like with any sale, you need a good product, and a book is a product.
Okay.
And so you need a good book because readers who are going to Amazon or going to the bookstore and they're going to browse, but they're not necessarily looking for specifically for your book, need the key indicators, the key things that will drive them to your book. And unfortunately, many authors who are producing or writing their first book are really, really focused on their craft, which is great because you need to deliver a good book. But what really moves a good book, what makes a good seller, a perennial seller, and even a bestseller, is the promotional aspect of it. And writers are often in the dark about it. They don't know what they don't know. And there's so much focused on writing the book and not enough on promotion. And that's the gap in the market that I set out to fill with the Bold Authors Network. But to address your question specifically, genre certainly does have an impact, right? So, like, romance is the hottest selling book genre right now. And then suspense and thrillers and fantasy and dystopian work. All of those categories are really good selling categories. Now, some people will write to market, so they'll write to a genre and they'll write including the tropes, including the plot twists, including what the readers are looking for. So that really helps to sell books because readers want to know that when they buy a romance or when they buy a thriller, that they're going to get a certain formula that's going to happen. They're going to get a certain set of character types. We call them tropes. There's going to be certain things that happen, and readers love to know what's coming. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. And so they enjoy what we call the formula or the structure. But then, how authors can differentiate themselves is by their touchstones. And this structure formula touchstones comes from Jack Shulkadis, who is with Book Funnels. And touchstones are those things that you build into your work that are familiar bits and pieces. They might be iconic moments that get repeated, or artifacts, or scenes, or little hidden Easter eggs that come out. And readers love those because they like see them coming, or maybe they're surprised that it happens again. But there's a certain familiarity in writing, whatever your genre is, that readers will look for. And if they don't find it, they will feel like you tricked them up because you said it was a romance, but there wasn't a happily ever after. Like a romance needs a happily ever after, right? Or you said it was a suspense, but it was really quite boring. So there are reader expectations that need to be filled first and foremost.
Mhm.
And you fill those by writing a good book, a great book that matches the genre that you're promoting in, the category that you're claiming.
So do you provide those criteria for a good book according to the
Mhm.
genre?
Yeah, we
Is that
talk about that. We talk about we spend time talking a lot about, what categories are your books in, what genres, what keyword phrases are you using, because these are all things that are required to feed the Amazon algorithm. Many writers, especially first-time authors, don't realize that they are actually promoting to two things. And one is they are promoting to readers, and so that is finding the category that Amazon has, matching the genre with your writing that you're claiming. But the second, equally important, is that you are feeding the Amazon algorithm with what you put in your publishing pages. So when you list your categories, when you list your keyword phrases, when you write your description, when you write your biography, when you put in A+ content, all of that is what we call Amazon's free real estate. And that is what Amazon crawls or searches to find you and your book as a perfect match to what the buyer has put in the search bar. So if I go to romantic, cozy, small town, or cozy small town romance, there are going to be books that are going to pop up because they have in their categories and in their keywords those phrases. And Amazon will look at that and say, oh, okay, here's a perfect match for you. You will love these books. And so that's what we want to have happen, is that there is a match between what our readers are looking for and what we have provided as subtext or keywords to Amazon's algorithm, so that a reader is happy with what we provide. If we have a mismatch, that will show up in the reviews. It will show up in poor reviews. Not that your writing is bad, but that it's a mismatch from their expectations. And it's really important to keep in mind readers' expectations.
So you don't want to mislead them with the description, because then they'll be disappointed and then they'll go write a bad review because it wasn't
Right.
what they
Exactly.
wanted. Okay. So it all ties.
Exactly. And
Okay.
so when you're a first-time writer and you're writing, part of learning your craft needs to be understanding your reader and the expectations for that genre.
Okay. So John, you're an author of seven, eight books. Where are you now? How many? I can't keep track.
Six out,
And
working
you're
on the
working on
seventh.
one. And
Yeah.
so, do you do this on Amazon? Do you
Uh,
use keywords and stuff like that?
yes, when I put up the Amazon pages for each of the books, they have a thing. They put in your keywords, and you do have somewhat of a anxiety attack, trying to come up with all of them, which you almost are hitting a thesaurus, saying, "Okay, I want to use this word. Now I need all the other words that could be this word," and
Go with it.
like she said, locations and of course the fact that all six of mine are six different genres. I can't even overlap any of them. Uh,
Yes,
so
yes.
it's not easy. And then of course, like Kay said, it's not just your book page. Each page has an author page,
Mhm.
which you then also need to, you want to stay true to yourself, but
Mhm.
you also want to use all those insane words that people will type in there that will make you pop up or your books
Right.
pop up.
Yeah.
Um,
So a great example of that, Kelly, is like instead of saying in your bio, author Kae Wagner is a bestseller, blah, 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 you might say, um, coming of age genre, fiction writer Kae Wagner. So that is a keyword that you put in that naturally fits, but also feeds the Amazon algorithm. But I'll give you another tip too. Um, when you go to Amazon, and let's just take John's example, like he writes different genres. So let's say he's writing a thriller, and he would go to Amazon in the book category and say, thriller set in North Carolina, or let's say thriller with how would you describe your main characters, John? Are they
well, my thriller, my thriller is would be the delivery man, who he is a vigilante.
okay? So yeah, so we would go to Amazon and we would say we would put in the search bar thriller with a vigilante. Now, here's the tip that I want everybody to pick up on. When you put that in, as you're typing it in the search bar on Amazon, there's going to be a drop down of a whole bunch of searches that other people do. Capture those because those will have keywords that people are using, like literally in real time, real people are using to search for a thriller. And so you can actually use Amazon to capture keyword phrases. And it's not just keywords. What you're looking for is keyword phrases because that's really how people search. It would be unusual for a person just to say thriller. People would say thriller novel with a um, police
Action,
gone bad.
action thriller. Uh,
Action thriller. Yeah. And often we'll find people will say locations like action thriller in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah. Or
Let's
something
pick
more
that up.
international action thriller,
Yeah.
or you know, uh, uh, you could, the more, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the more description that you can give, sort of the better it would be, you know.
So people are typing
Yeah.
in specific things. This is
Yeah, or
specifically what
right,
you're
for
looking for. So
for
you want
people
specific.
looking for a specific thing. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I did a few books ages ago. It was when it first came out that you could do self publishing on Amazon. It was KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing or
Right.
something.
KDP.
And so I don't remember all this because I know I did it all and I know my bio is on there, but I had no rhyme or
And
reason.
there's
It was
nothing wrong. I mean, in
yeah,
since I put the boss out in 2012, and we did our first, we did the
yeah,
first page. The person I was putting the pages with together at that point, I probably have updated my page, the author
yeah,
page, a handful of times, maybe every time a book came out, because
Right.
you wanted
Right.
to use that genre's title in with my name.
Yeah.
Right. And so you want to also pay attention to categories now and update categories, because what's happened is as this market becomes more and more competitive and people are now flooding the market with AI generated stuff, which is really generally not very well done. Um, the categories, the main categories, are now splitting into like niche categories. So you'll have a small town romance, you'll have a cozy small town romance, you'll have small town romance in Appalachia, you'll have small town romance um, with friends to lovers. You'll have, so the genres and the categories are splitting more and more as we drive deeper and deeper into niches. And so the searches that people make are reflective of that. If you want to see what's happening in a subgenre, you go in and you start typing in, and you will see the predictive search that, drops down, and you'll be amazed at the really the detail of the niche markets that are and the niche categories that are available.
So you mentioned AI. Does Amazon
Yes.
detect if your book was written using AI, and is it a no-no? Is it banned or?
When you publish your book, Amazon will ask you if this book was generated by AI, and you'll have to check a yes or no. It does not currently, according to their policy, it does not make any difference in how they view your book. There's some speculation that in the future, Amazon will either tag it in some way, but we really don't know that at this time.
They
Um,
don't differentiate when they
not
promote
at
it on
not at this
Amazon.
time.
You wouldn't
No,
know that it's written by AI. That's
no.
interesting.
I think the most important thing about AI is this. AI is a very good writer. AI is an excellent author's assistant,
Mhm.
but AI is not you. AI cannot own your brain and what you do. It
Mhm.
can replicate a lot. I think authors who are afraid of AI, resistant to AI, are missing a huge opportunity to use AI in a way that serves the author. And that includes things like research, includes things like brainstorming, includes things like find me a quick word for this instead of going into a thesaurus or something like that. So AI has a lot of uses. We have bots and agents that help our productivity as far as, things like putting into AI your manuscript and saying to AI, please go through this manuscript and pull out the best keyword phrases for
Mhm.
this category or this genre.
Oh, yeah.
And so it can really help with productivity a lot.
Okay,
I like that.
okay. Now we'll have a little bit of an interview. Okay. As a writer, I do a lot of research. All of my books. Um, in my memoir, obviously not a fiction, not as you said, you like to put things in so that people can relate to things.
Yes.
In my books, all of my books, even the fiction books, whatever time period they're being written in, I use something historic from that time. So
Mhm.
in every book, so that maybe not that the main characters have to deal with it, but it's something that took place in and that could be used in the story, but what it does is it gives the reader a time and place. It
Right.
puts them in that they could relate to it. Okay.
Mhm.
But I do a lot, especially my latest book now. It's taken almost 3 years, which usually I get a book out about every year and a half. So far, it's been 3 years. I still have a few months to go because this one's a science fiction book. So the research on this is intense.
Mhm.
I mean, it's beyond intense. But I do the research. I watch the documentaries to see what I could use from that. I go on Wikipedia. I hit Google, and then you want to make sure that you don't get hit with any kind of copyright infringement or uh, plagiarism in the most blatant way.
Right, right. Yeah.
So now whatever it is that you've researched, you have to even though it's everything that you need or want, you have to completely rewrite it so that it fits what you need, what you want, but
Mhm.
certainly not in the words of wherever you got that information. I don't want AI, and this is me. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't want AI doing my work.
Mhm.
Um, and this is something that you said that it sort of an alarm went off for
Mhm.
me. Put my book, put my manuscript in Word or PDF
Mhm.
into AI and say, okay, let me know. Let me know like you said, get me some keywords.
Mhm.
In actuality, what I've just done is given my entire manuscript to someplace, something that is not me, that I have no control over, and it is not out there yet. Even if it's a working draft that I might have
Mhm.
done with the Writers Guild, so I'm protected in the most minor of ways because I didn't copyright it yet, because
Right.
I haven't finished it yet. So now I've just given my entire manuscript to Zorg. I don't know who I gave it to,
Well,
but
I'd
and
say,
then I'm asking it for an opinion.
no,
Uh,
I'd
It's just a
say
tool, John. You're using it as a tool.
it's a tool.
It's like
It's
you gave it
not
to a
really,
person and asked them to read through it and pick the best keywords, knowing, someone that an expert, right? Right. Okay. You know better.
yeah.
You know
So
better.
there are a couple things about that. About 15 years ago, I was at a conference and a futurist was there, and it might have even been 20 years ago. And this futurist said, copyrights will no longer be valid. They will no longer be a thing in 30 to 40 years. And I was like, how could that be? Because like everything I've ever done has been about copyright, about,
yes,
you know,
yes.
maintaining your rights and having the rights to your work, to your creativity, to your body of work. And so I have been fascinated by that concept and have not seen until AI how that could happen, how copyrights could be broken. But I can see that that will happen. However, I think that the genre that you write in will make a difference in how you use AI as a tool. I can see in science fiction, I can see in other genres where you are doing heavy world building that people would need to do a lot more research, a lot more creation of
Hmm.
a world, right? In the genres that I work in, the genres are heavily focused on characters, on dialogue, on relationships. Much, much less on world building, on creating
I'll buy
descriptions.
that, but and I don't want, not trying to go back and forth, but what you're saying, your primary parts are, yeah, me too. Even, and just so you know, I'm not building any worlds. They come here, we don't go there. It's a lot easier that way. But anyway, but yeah, and so I have to develop the characters and
Right. Yeah,
make it, use all of the sciences that are available to me right
right.
here in our own little solar system. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
uh,
So I think it's important for people to realize that um, we have been using AI for many, many years and not calling it that. We have been using software to do our work for decades, and nobody cared about that. If you've ever used Hemingway Editor or Grammarly or any of those software tools, it's the same thing. They're doing that work for you, right? For how many years have people used ghost writers? We have no problem with that.
Well, it's like
We,
hiring, script doctors. Um,
yeah,
Same
right,
idea, same thing.
well, oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, but we were human. We're human. And
well,
they
right.
they would
Our,
contract us to rewrite a script based on usually a producer's notes or
Mhm.
a director's notes, and
Right.
a script doctor who has no emotional ties to Kay's writing. So, if they asked her to change something that she felt, too tied to, it would be difficult, and they don't want to deal with the writer, so they come to people like script doctors and go, here's our notes, here's a check, do what we tell you and make it even better if you can. So it's
Yes,
it's
yes.
humans doing the work, and
Yeah,
so
and it's
give it
okay.
that.
There's,
And ghostwriters, I'll give it the same thing.
yeah,
They were humans.
right,
but
I
right.
know,
AI
but
starts with humans. Everything that's why people are so afraid of being replaced by AI. And I may be wrong, but I don't think we will be replaced by AI because I don't think it's ever going to develop its own intelligence. I just don't see that happening. They say it's going to happen. They say it's happening now. I'm not seeing that happen. I'm seeing it be able to process what has already been done. And that's all from human. It all stems from human. I use AI in my work, and I request I want this, newsletter written about this, and then I go through as the human and give it the flavor of our
Yeah,
brand. And really what AI did for me was just the research, like Kay was saying. I think that's what you were
yeah.
saying, is
Yeah,
the
I
and the
research.
productivity too, Kelly. But let's not get stuck on that point because
right.
there's opportunity with AI that I would like everyone to be aware of. And whether you like it or not, whatever's coming down the pike is already coming. And
That's right.
Gonna
we
stop it.
we are not
It's
we
too
are
late.
not going to stop any of it.
Mhm.
It's going to roll right over us. 10 or 15 years ago, when I was on the national speaking circuit and I spoke to CEOs about Twitter, Facebook, and I said, if you're not on Twitter or Facebook right now, your competition's going to roll right over me. CEOs used to get so mad at me, the messenger,
Yep.
because they didn't understand it. And so that happens now with AI. AI is coming, but here's the opportunity for authors in particular. So let's just say that people, which is already happening, statistics are that over 200 books written by AI are uploaded into Amazon daily.
Oh,
That's massive over time, right? But let's just say that that happens and that they're good books and that they get bought. What's really the opportunity for us as authors, especially if you have a series and you're a prolific author, you have a good backlist and you're writing and adding to it. The opportunity is to connect the readers with you, the author, the human, the creator and author. And so AI is never going to replace that. And what I talk about in the Bold Authors Playbook, which is a book I just released this week, is that the opportunity is for us to move beyond the book into a conversation and a connection with our readers and to be able to share that human connection, which is what we all desire. At the end of the day, that's really what we want, is to connect with another human being. And connecting with the human being who is the storyteller of the book that we love has its own very special experience, because readers love authors of the books that they love.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so we know that that connection can create an ongoing relationship using our books as the shared interest and using our books as a way to impact the people and the readers that we write for.
In
I think the
the
connection also is to the characters.
Yes, they
Because
love the
beyond the book, I
Mhm.
want to know, what does this character do after the book, or what did this
Right.
character do before the book? And so the author is the key to that
Right.
connection, because the
Okay.
author
Yes.
knows. We want to think that the
Right.
author knows. And
Yeah.
can I take 1 minute to do a little sideline? So remember when we interviewed Monica from Keka's
Yeah.
Usna?
Yeah.
We interviewed someone recently on our podcast who has her own lipstick company. And I just want to point out that this is the Kekas Usna lipstick. Because she sent John and I some samples.
Oh,
Not me. Not me. I did not get any
Okay, you didn't
lipstick.
get the
I'm
men's.
okay.
Okay, well, I
Kellie.
gave her my
Not that.
address and I
And
got the.
let me emphasize, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Mhm.
But no, I did not get a tube of lipstick. It's okay.
Well,
I'll take one, Kellie. Your
I
lips look
did.
I,
I
but
did.
I
Don't they
did.
look great? I mean, and it
Yes, they
stays
look
on.
fabulous.
It doesn't
I
come
did.
off, and it's moisturizing.
And
I
it
did send
she
her a
got the right
copy of
shade
my
for
book,
you
as
too.
long as I have lips, about the cosmetic industry.
Yeah.
And if you remember, she said she was flying, I think, to Poland, if I'm not mistaken, to Warsaw or some Eastern European country, and she read the book
Oh,
and
fantastic.
enjoyed. So anyway,
Awesome.
let's
Awesome.
Yeah.
it's
Anyway, I
not
had to
about
take a
that.
break because I promised her that I was going to wear it in our
Good.
Oh,
podcast.
well, tell her she
And
picked
I
There you
it
go.
did want to share it
Now,
because
now,
here.
Kay,
awesome.
in your book, in the
Yes.
new book, you mentioned something, a 3V formula.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Give us what that's about.
Right. So the three V's are the ways that authors connect with readers, with their audience, and sell more books. So remember that the Bold Authors Network is focused on book promotion and book sales. The first V is vision, and that is, why are you doing this anyway? Why? Who are you doing this for? What is the meaning at the end of the day, at the end of the long haul through the saggy middle and the editing
Mhm.
and all of it, the work of it? Why are you doing this? And connecting with this is what will get you past the saggy middle. It will get you past the hard times. It will get you past the valley of despair, the fears that you have, the self-doubts that you have. Without it, you probably won't make it. It'll stay in your computer or in the bottom shelf of your desk. So that's number one, is knowing the why. Number two is your voice. And your voice has not only the physical aspect, which is literally your voice, getting your voice out, but really getting your presence out, because we know that your presence carries weight. Your presence on stage, your presence on a podcast, your presence in a summit, your words all make a difference and they carry weight. It's not only what you say, but who you are and how you show up. And showing up every day with your voice, with your presence is significant. It makes a difference. And an important part about your presence and showing up every day is that is a key way to build trust with your readers. It builds trust, it builds consistency. All of that is the way that you stand out, that you become distinctive for your readers. And the third V is visibility. Without visibility, your book is not viable. If I don't know it exists, if it's not visible, it's not I'm never going to be able to buy it. So we need to do all of the things like getting on podcasts, like having our own podcasts, like doing YouTube channels, like doing daily emails and building our list, because our list is the only asset that we have outside of our books in terms of marketing. We only rent space on social media. We don't own it. We do own our list. And so the number one job, what every author should do today, is to start building a list. And there are multiple ways of doing that. But if you do not have a list where you can communicate with your readers, with your community on a regular basis, should you get kicked off of Amazon, should you get kicked off of Facebook, should you get kicked off of Instagram, wherever, you still have a community. You still have the ability to reach authors, to create new work, and sell more work. And for authors who are just getting started, I want to give this huge note and this huge opportunity. And that is that the more books that you have, especially if you create a series, the more Amazon's algorithm will work in your behalf.
Right.
If you create a series, Amazon will love you. They will market for you. They will do ads for you. They will serve you up to readers who are interested in your genre. Amazon has incredible power to influence buyers and will do so because they want you to sell more books. Because when you sell books, they sell books. Everybody
They
makes
make money. They make
Do
and
they charge
that's
for advertising?
please and writers. She is one. If there was more than 100%, she would get that. But she is 100% correct that if you do these things and Amazon takes notice, it's not like Amazon will promote you because they want to promote authors. They want to promote authors because they make a minimum of 40% for every piece of literature that goes through them. And some authors, to in order to have a higher profile to the public, will give them a higher percentage of than 40% in order to reach the market out there. So yes, without a doubt, and believe me, folks, my accountant will tell you that Amazon has does wonders for me at the end of that during the year. Okay, I certainly sell more books on Amazon than I do through my own website, only because I'm not out there promoting a new book. Whenever I promote
Right.
a new book, those statistics change dramatically.
Right. Yeah.
But
If you look at what Amazon does, just straight up out of the gate, number one, it has been in the market so long, people trust it to deliver a book.
that's
So
right.
trust number one in the website is huge.
Speed.
And yeah, it's key. And number two, it's ultimate convenience, right? So even if you have your books for sale in your own website, often people will go to your website and look at it and then they'll check on Amazon. And because Amazon already has their card, already has everything, and it'll get it
Right.
to
Yep.
2 days, boom, Amazon gets the purchase.
They if they have Prime, they get free shipping.
Correct.
As if they bought it from me, they're going to pay shipping. Big deal.
Right.
I mean that is and of course, if they buy it through our website, they will get it signed if that's important to them. A
Right.
lot of people don't care because after they read a book, it's going to go to the used bookstore, it's going to go to a library, or it might just sit on a shelf for forever.
Right.
But
Yeah.
as a writer, our primary concern is I hope you buy the book and I hope you enjoy the book. And I hope you tell your friends
And I hope you review it
and
too.
review it. Yeah, yeah, that is
Review
a
it
big
and
thing.
follow me on Amazon
Yeah.
because
Right. You're right.
I have another one coming.
Yeah, I don't usually follow that up, and that's why now being a member of your group, you will drum that into my skull.
I
Uh,
will. I
and
will.
yeah, and do me a favor, Kay. Um, why don't well, not that we're done yet, but why don't you tell anybody who's interested how they can get involved in your group
Yeah.
if that's what they'd like to do.
Yes. So in the Bold Authors Network, we welcome fiction and nonfiction authors because we all have the same job to do, and that is promote our books, right? And every Monday, we hold a free promo hour, and it is from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is free. And in promo hour, which we hold on Zoom, we talk about, and I do some teaching. I bring in experts. We do group chats and do breakout rooms where authors talk together about what they're doing. But we are very, very focused on getting people into the mindset of being a bold promoter. So when you when you don't realize yet as an author, as a new author, that promoting is your job, whether you're an indie author or you've used a traditional publisher, promoting is still your job in
Yeah.
either case. When you don't really get that yet, you are like frozen, paralyzed because you don't know where to start and what to
Hmm.
do. And so in the Bold Authors Network and Promo Hour, we talk about the things that you should do, the mindset that you should have, the three V's, vision, voice, and visibility. And along the way, somewhere, it clicks for people. And they suddenly, it's like a transformation, and they realize that, oh, I need to tell the whole world about my book. I didn't know that was my job, but yes, it is my job. And now I'm going to tell the whole world about around my book. And when that mindset breaks through, then we start to see people taking action on a daily basis, on a
Hmm.
regular basis. And not only do they see opportunities that were there the whole time, but they never saw them before, but now they start to create opportunities. And when people start to create opportunities and they own the responsibility, that's when they will stop falling off the Amazon cliff and they will become perennial sellers.
I think you do that, John. I think, and that's probably why you don't like using AI. You are so attached to your stories. They're almost like your children. Um, and to me, from an outsider's point of view, um, and how they're different, and you're just living life through
Yeah,
these
and
stories.
I love promoting the books.
Yes.
I yeah, I was going to say probably, but no, I certainly do not do as much as I should using the newer technology. Okay, my way, I think we talked about this at the group last week. Okay, but and Kelly knows that I did this, but up until 2020, I would tour. I toured every year. I booked tours across the country and went to see independent bookstores and lots of libraries and things. And as I realized between 2012 from my first tour and 2019 from my last one, the number of independent bookstores would just decrease by double digits every year. It made it harder and harder. But the point is, once COVID came around and I couldn't tour,
Right.
uh, I before COVID, folks, there was no such thing as Zoom that we were aware of, and so this thing called Zoom happened, and I was, wait a minute, you could put four, five, six people. How about 50? And they were, yeah, we could do that. And so instead of going to regions or areas or cities across the country, I would just do Zoom readings for time zones, a specific time zone. And instead of seeing, I was usually lucky with 30 to about 50 to 60 people at a reading at a location. Now I'm getting 50, 60, 70 people at a reading. And I'm
Right.
able to do the same reading a couple of different times, different time zones, different parts of the world. I would do a reading for people who fortunately understood English in Europe, not just friends in England, and Australia. Of course, waking up and doing a reading at 3:30 in the morning is not the best thing to do, but
That's what you do for what
you
you
do
love.
it. You
You
do
do.
it because those, and you see, as
That's
Kay
what
can tell
a
you,
bold promoter
Amazon
does.
Amazon gives you a little, they give you a little chart, and you see that your books are selling in
Right.
Australia and in New Zealand and China, or not China, but
Right.
Japan and South Korea. I would get such a kick out of that. So the technology is there, and I'm talking about technology that I used 5 years ago, folks.
Mhm.
Okay. It has expanded since then. Probably in another couple of years, I'll be a hologram standing on your computer keyboard, doing a reading for you. Who knows?
Right. Or
And it,
you'll be an AI agent.
oh my God. Okay, so there you go. So please, talk more about the group and how people can
Yes.
contact you.
Yes. So the Bold Authors Network and Promo Hour you can find at www.boldauthors.network.com. And you go to that page, there's a registration sign in at the top. You'll get some information about the kinds of things that we do. But when you sign in, you will get invited to every Monday's promo hour. And we have a great lineup of people experts who are coming in. We have a great lineup of some teaching that we're going to do about promotions. John, you were there last week when we had some of our members talking
Hmm.
about what's happened in their lives and with their books since they've been in the group and since they've been doing more promotions.
And I
We
found
have,
one to be very honest. She has a specific.
yes,
It's not even a specific genre. It now breaks it down to a geographic
yes.
region,
Mhm.
and she's having a hard time trying to come up with the right way to sell it, to market it, to get it out there. And it was nice the way people just had something to say. They had something to
Right.
offer.
Or some
Even
really unique ideas that came
going
out.
right, going outside the traditional box
Yeah.
as
Right.
usual. That's what it takes. So
Yeah.
I found it interesting, and I'll continue to go until they get tired of having me.
You are always welcome, John. And
Thank you.
Kelly, you are welcome as well, and all of your listeners to the podcast. But it's as simple as going to www.boldauthors.network.com.
Yeah,
And
I'm looking on your website now.
okay,
So you
great.
just sign up. There's no cost, there's no obligation. You just sign up and then you show up. They'll, I guess, get a link via email.
Yes, every week we send out a Zoom link
Okay.
and notify people like the night before and then an hour before and 15 minutes before. So they get plenty of notification about it.
Okay.
I would say it is a very supportive community. People really care about each other. And people are now, and this is what I love, is that people are collaborating behind the scenes. They're reaching out to each other behind the scenes. They're actually helping each other promote. They're doing cross promotions. They're reading each other's books. They're giving reviews. They're following each other on Amazon. And all of this is really to support authors on their journey. And I call it going from an anxious author to a bold promoter. And that is having that transformation, that light bulb moment that goes off and says, ah, yes, I do accept responsibility for the promotion of my books. And moving forward, I'm going to grab every opportunity that's available and I'm going to create opportunities like John did with creating book readings. Those book readings didn't just fall in his lap. He worked for that, right? He earned the right to be
Oh,
in
it's a lot of promotion to let people know that you're going to be doing
Yes,
this in the first place. And then it was, I had to, Kelly, you remember you put together the video for me of all those well-known people who introduced me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would arrange to have someone introduce me, somebody of some repute, to introduce me. I would have, before the actual event even started, a title card saying, "This
mhm,
is the reading you're going to see. Here's the website. Blah blah blah. Please turn off your cell or your mic. Put your mic on mute. All these things,
right,
and then." Have somebody, they screen goes to that person, they talk a little bit about why they like this particular book or something like that. They'd
right.
introduce me, I would do it, and then I would, like a regular reading, I would do question and answer. After I did my 18 to 22-minute reading of a part of the manuscript, I would do 10 minutes of question and answer.
Right.
And then it actually, again, not everybody does this. I'm very fortunate that I have talented friends, and people have written songs based on each of my books.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
And
wow.
Yeah, songs
and
that
and so I
coordinate with
would
books. Yeah.
end each reading with that song.
I
Yeah,
love
Kelly,
that.
you
Yeah.
actually you used a couple of
Yeah, I
those
forgot
songs.
about that, but yeah,
Yeah,
I did a little
yeah,
promo video for him.
yeah,
All the clips, and some of them were live, and some of them were on Zoom. Uh,
yeah.
the introductions, and then
So it was great.
yeah,
So
the songs.
yeah, it really is a lot of work. And then of
Mhm.
course you need to, as always, determine what part of my book am I going to read that's going
Right,
to be 18 to 22 minutes, because people technically only have a 20
right.
minute attention span before they start to
And I
nod
think
off.
it's a whole lot shorter than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I prefer
So
that at 5 minutes.
Like
so
five
so
For
minutes.
so
me.
but you want to read something that's going to make them go, so, and then what happens?
Yeah,
And so
leave them
that's when
hanging.
they buy the book.
Yeah.
You know
And
what, John? You just gave me a brilliant idea to do the Bold Authors Network reading hour and to do kind of follow your setup and maybe do three authors in 1 hour with shorter readings.
yuck, you can't. You need the guts. You need the
I
guts, and
know,
the
but
guts
what
usually
about
take.
what about that first 5 minutes in the book where you hook people, right?
Yeah. I think 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes is enough because otherwise it gets
Let me tell you something. Whatever you decide to do, I'll happily be a part of it,
Okay,
and
all right,
and
good. We
and we'll
have our
make
first
it work.
reader. We
Okay.
have our
I
first.
love that idea. I think that's an awesome idea.
I think that is a fabulous idea. I love
There
that.
you go.
Yeah. Well, we do that already on the podcast. Between he and I, we've been reading our books.
Oh,
We
okay.
We're
we
doing our
do
own little
we do a
reading
little of
and
that.
make
Yeah,
them
but I
into like
think
filler
Awesome.
shows.
I think I'm done. I think
Are
I've
you?
read, well, the one or two
Couple.
books, technically it's
Oh
really
yeah, yeah.
not
Well,
fit for human consumption at the for
we'll leave
what
it
we
at that.
hit.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Um,
and
I have a few more stories in me that I think maybe I could get out. I have to ask.
that's fine.
So my book, my main book, was a series of 19 stories written by different women, and so
Oh,
I
sure.
haven't read any without the woman's permission. So I want to make sure I get permission from the women
Oh,
to
okay.
read.
Okay. Yeah. So like memoir and story form?
Kind of, yeah. I guess they're just short stories, like a book of
Okay.
19 short stories. It's
But
what
they're
I like
are
about the book is you
they
can pick it up and read it, read a story. It's
are
five
they
to,
true stories,
yeah,
Kelly? Are they
yeah,
true
they're
or
true. They're true.
each individual and true to that person?
They're all true. They
Yeah.
are all autobiographical. And so you can read one story and put it down and never read it again and not wonder what happened, like because they're all separate. Just
Yeah,
like
so you get that fulfillment of the full story in a short
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, is
And
there
there's a lot
anything
of
that you
tragic,
want to get out there Is there anything you want to impart to people
I have
before?
a question before we wrap this up. So I'm on your
Please, yeah.
website, Saturday
Okay.
Night at the Trailer Park. Is that one
Yes.
of your books? That looks like the
Yes.
beginning of the series, a series.
So that's book one in the Frankie Girl series. That
Okay.
one, so last year I published 4 books in the Frankie Girl series. And Kelly, you mentioned how readers fall in love with your characters, right?
Mhm.
So my readers will not let Frankie Girl go. They love Frankie Girl. So I'm just completing a companion book for the Frankie Girl series in which I do an epilogue to the series, but then I'm also doing a character backstory for 4 of the main characters, like their childhood, their formative years, why the antagonist was evil, those kinds of things, the dark heart of Larry O, and what happened to him when he was a kid, that he was so mean and evil when he grew up. And then I'm throwing in a few things. I'm doing something that I've never seen done before. I'm really eager to see if my readers, how they respond. I've already completed it. It's an interview of me, the author, with the character Frankie Girl. So I'm interviewing her about her different thoughts about the book, as though she were a real person and I were the interviewee,
That's
I
great.
love it.
interviewer.
That's
Yeah, I love it. I
fantastic.
think that's what people they want. They want more when they like
Yeah, they want more.
who will be her voice? How will you do this?
So I'm writing it in third person omniscient.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm writing it from my perspective as the interviewer.
Oh, okay.
And
All
I'm
right.
writing it as though I were writing it for a magazine. So it's like a magazine article. So I put in some commentary and describe her, and we have a conversation, and we agree that we love each other.
I love it. I love
And
it.
I talk about how my life has changed because of her, and so that kind of thing.
Talk
That's
about
great.
AI. It's reminding me of like
Yeah.
you're actually bringing this character to life in
Yes.
your life.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Well, you
love it.
see now we have two parts of this reading that you want to do, yours and mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
could
I
do
love
this.
that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
we,
Great idea.
let's do a few more months of your group and see what it brings, and then we want to bring you back.
Okay. I would love to come back. I have a
Yeah.
new series that I have just finished the first book in the new series, and
Okay.
it will go on pre-order at the end of June.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, then we'll see you at the beginning or the end of July, and we'll make something
Yeah,
else of it.
I'd love to do this again. I really am
Yeah.
Okay,
interested, and
good. I'd love
I
to
think you've
too.
hit on something that's missing for most authors.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Like
There's a huge
the
gap in the
writing
marketplace.
You
Yeah.
know,
is
I mean, here's how I see it. I mean, even now I teach a memoir writing workshop, but I've always been helpful in getting people to say, I always wanted to write a book, or there's a story inside me. And I've always been that person to get people to write.
Mhm.
And then after that, they seem to not know what to do. And I can't always be there to take them step by step. I'm going through my own promotion and publishing crisis
Right,
half the
right.
time. So they need somebody like you. They need somebody
Yeah.
to do what your group does, what the Bold Authors Network
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So I will certainly be out there pushing and promoting
Well, thank
for
you.
people to come to learn that step,
It's a
because
skill.
writing a book is really not the first step. Well, it's starting to write the book is the first step, but then there is so many other steps: getting the book edited, finding a cover artist, finding a formatter, before and that's just to get the book printed.
Right.
And then of course who's going to print it, and but getting the book printed. Okay, now I have a book printed, and I have a face no and I have an Amazon page to sell it. Now what do I do? People don't know. they're
Right.
at a loss. They think Amazon is going to put it up on billboards. Not at all. Not until you generate some sales, enough sales so that Amazon believes that it's worth promoting you.
Exactly. That's exactly the key. And people have two thoughts about Amazon. They see Amazon as the enemy, or they see Amazon as the friend. And for indie authors, Amazon is definitely the friend.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
it's opened up so many opportunities for people that would never have a chance to even publish a book.
Right,
Like you
right.
Exactly.
could sit and write all day for
Right.
a year, every day, and at the end you've got this stack of papers, but who's going to publish
Right.
it? And
Yeah.
Amazon
And
will do
then,
that for you.
all those rejection letters, like Tim Ferriss got 26 rejection letters before he self-published the 4 Hour Work Week.
Wow.
Oh,
26 rejection letters. I mean, authors go through so much pain and suffering,
Yep.
and they put their hearts out there. And the most of the market, most people don't understand how that impacts an author's well-being.
couldn't care less. They couldn't care less.
Right? That's
Okay.
true.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Anyway, we have to
Yeah.
get ready for the next one, but we loved having you on. You're a great
Yeah.
guest, Kay.
Thank
So
you.
much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed
Yeah.
it so
Thank
much,
you.
Kelly. So nice to meet you, John. Good to
too.
see you.
You
And we'll
too.
see you both soon.
I hope
Yes,
so. Okay.
absolutely.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All views expressed in this video belong to Kelly Nicholson, John D'Amore, and guests. These discussions do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever with which they have been affiliated now or will be in the future. The opinions expressed are solely theirs, and since they are critically thinking human beings, these views are subject to change, subject to revision, and subject to rethinking at any time. These conversations are not meant to be taken as advice and are only for the purpose of entertainment. All statements may be based on hearsay and not necessarily valid proof of any claims in this video. It is not our intention to teach or advise on any topic. Unless otherwise noted, all photos are public domain. Thanks for watching A Slice of Life with Kelly and John.